Hey gang, and welcome back. Just a reminder, you can now use the promo code MTGMudsta, all caps, at flipsidegaming.com. You'll get 10% off orders over $10 and help with the channel at the same time. Welcome back to a special EDH game, this week featuring Plane Chase. Everyone was excited to try this out, and we have Sean playing his Inalla deck and keeps a hand with Watery Grave, Swamp, Mountain, Myriad Landscape, Ghost Quarter, Reanimate, and Portal Mage. Matt is playing his Kess deck and keeps a hand with Increasing Vengeance, Nivik Guildmage, Seagate Oracle, 2 Swamps, and a Mountain. Trevor is playing his Yidris clone deck and keeps a hand with Propaganda, Breeding Pool, Farseek, Command Tower, Explosive Vegetation, Chromatic Lantern, and Frontier Bivouac. And lastly, Mike is playing his Jori En and keeps a hand with Wandering Fumarole, Shivan Reef, Spirebluff Canal, Alhamrat's Archive, Jace's Erasure, and Sol Ring. Sean starts us off, albeit a bit too early. Matt plays a Mountain, and Trevor kindly reminds everyone that they're playing Plane Chase. Sean reveals Manamo, which reads, whenever a player casts a spell, that player may draw a card. It also has the Chaos roll that allows players to return a blue card from his or her graveyard to his or her hand. Mike plays Temple of Epiphany and scries the card to the bottom. Trevor plays Frontier Bivouac and rolls to leave the plane, but whiffs. Sean plays Watery Grave and rolls the Chaos symbol, allowing everyone to return a blue card from their non-existent graveyards, value. Sean then pays 1 to do it again, and whiffs. Matt plays an island and casts Goblin Electromancer, drawing a card. Mike plays Shivan Reef and casts Sol Ring to draw a card. Talk about making a good card even better. Mike then casts Temple Bell, drawing another card, and passes turn. Trevor plays Command Tower and casts Farseek, drawing a card. He opts to roll the die, failing to hit a symbol before searching for an overgrown tomb with the Farseek. Sean plays a Mountain and cracks the Myriad Landscape for 2 islands. He rolls and fails to hit anything. Matt plays a Swamp and casts Nivik's Guildmage, drawing a card. At the end of Matt's turn, Mike taps the Temple Bell, forcing everyone to draw. Mike plays Spirebluff Canal for his land for turn and casts his General, drawing a card. Mike then casts Jace's Erasure, drawing another card from the Plane Chase card and his General. Moving to his end step, Mike discards down to 7. Trevor plays an island and taps out to cast Ranger's Path, drawing a card and rolling to try and planeswalk, failing to do so before finding 2 forests. Sean plays a Swamp and pays 5 to cast Conjurer's Closet. He then rolls the die, hitting Chaos again, and Mike is the only one to benefit by returning Descendant of Soromaru to his hand. Moving to his end step, Sean has to discard an island and passes. Matt plays a Swamp and Brainstorms, drawing 1 before drawing 3 from the spell. He then puts 2 back. Matt then casts Doomfall and exiles Mike's Archive. Matt rolls and fails to hit anything. At the end of his turn, Mike taps the Temple Bell, forcing everyone to draw, and then uses the Erasure trigger to mill Matt for 1. Mike misses his Erasure trigger on his draw for turn, before he plays a Mountain and casts Howling Mine, choosing not to draw. Mike then casts Descendant of Soromaru, drawing for Jori, and mills Matt for 1. Mike doesn't roll the die as he's enjoying returning cards to his hand for free when other people hit the Chaos side. Trevor draws 2 for turn and drops Breeding Pool untapped, taking 2. Trevor then casts Gaze of Granite where X is 4, drawing a card from the Plane trigger. Mike activates the Temple Bell once more and uses the Eraser trigger to mill Trevor for 1. Trevor then discards down to 7 and rolls to get off the plane but hits the Chaos side. Mike and Matt both get to return a card to their hand. Sean plays a Caverns of Soul, naming Wizards. He then casts Disciple of Bolas, drawing for the planes. He pays 1 to copy the Disciple with Inalla's trigger, and sacrifices each of them to the other's trigger, drawing 2 and gaining 2 life twice. Sean then discards down to 7, and rolls to get off, but failing, pays 1 to do it again once more, and fails again. Matt plays Exotic Orchard for his land for turn, and casts Kess, drawing a card. Matt then rolls to get off the plane, and fails. Moving to his end of turn, Matt discards down to 7 and passes. Mike plays Reflecting Pool and casts Fencer's Journal, drawing a card. Trevor plays an island and casts Chromatic Lantern. He then casts Clever Impersonator, copying Matt's Kess, and Trevor draws both cards from casting his spells. Trevor then uses his copied Kess to cast Farseek from his graveyard, drawing from Manamo once more, and rolls the Chaos dice, allowing Mike, Sean, and Matt to return a blue card before going to find a Steam Vents from his library. Sean plays Reliquary Tower for his land for turn, a great land to have on this plane. Sean then casts Manifold Insights, drawing a card. He reveals the top 10, and Matt gives Sean Bantu's Monument, Mike gives him Rise from the Dark Realms, and Trevor gives him Herald's Horn. Sean then casts the Herald's Horn, naming Wizards, and rolls twice but doesn't hit, before passing to Matt. Matt plays an island for turn and casts Thought Vessel. Matt then recasts Goblin Electromancer and draws from Anamo. Matt then pays 1 to recast Brainstorm with Kess. Matt rolls twice, hitting Chaos in his second roll, and everyone gets to return a card this time. Mike gains 11 life during his upkeep thanks to Venser's Journal, and plays Command Tower. He then plays Chromatic Lantern, drawing a card. Mike then recasts Descendant of Soromaru, which he had returned thanks to the trigger, and draws before passing. Trevor plays Bloodstained Mire for his land for turn, and casts Propaganda. He then flashes back Ranger's Path, and draws from it. Trevor then attacks Mike with the cloned Kess for 3, and finally rolls to get the guys out of the plane. They hit the phenomenon Plane-Wide Disaster, wiping the board of all creatures before planeswalking to another phenomenon, this time reality shaping. The guys get to put a permanent from their hand onto the battlefield before planeswalking away. Trevor drops Verdant Catacombs, Sean drops Stranglehold, Matt plays Seagate Oracle, and Mike drops Bulwark. Then they reveal another phenomenon, which leads me to question someone's shuffling skills, and this time they see Spatial Merging. This causes them to reveal the next 2 planes, and Sean reveals Quicksilver Sea, which allows the player to scry 4 on their upkeep and when they planeswalk to it, and Krosa, which gives all creatures +2/+2. Trevor gets to do both of these things, and passes after he's done scrying. Sean scries on his upkeep, and he keeps 1 on top, drawing it. Sean then plays a Swamp, and casts Bontu's Monument. Sean then recasts Manifold Insights once more, revealing 10, and Matt gives him Demure Signet, Mike gives him Harbinger of the Tides, and Trevor gives Sean Impact Tremors. Sean then casts the Signet, and rolls to planeswalk away, but hits nothing. Matt scries on his upkeep and plays an island. He then casts Opportunity during his main phase, drawing 4 cards. Matt then rolls the planar die, but hits nothing, and passes to Mike. On Mike's upkeep, the Journal and Bulwark trigger, and Trevor takes 4 damage as he's the only player with less cards than Mike in hand. Mike then forgets to scry 4, and rolls the planar die. Failing to leave the plane, Mike then plays an island and casts Archmage Ascension, and follows up with a Windfall. Before the spell can resolve though, Trevor uses Krosan Grip to take out Venser's Journal. Everyone discards their hand and draws 13 cards as it's the largest hand. Mike then passes, putting a counter on the Ascension, and discards down to 7. Trevor scries on his upkeep, and plays Reliquary Tower for his land for turn. Trevor then casts Dominus of Fealty, and casts one of his favorite green cards, Seasons Past. He returns Smoldering Marsh, Burgeoning, Toxic Deluge, Clever Impersonator, and Blatant Thievery. Trevor then casts Burgeoning and Commander Sphere, sacrificing the sphere to draw a card. Sean scries on his turn and puts all 4 of the cards on the bottom of his library. Sean then plays a Command Tower, which lets Trevor play Scalding Tarn. Sean then casts Perforos and drops Apprentice Necromancer, draining everyone for 1 with the Monument. Everyone then takes 2 from the Necromancer entering the battlefield with Perforos out, and Sean pays 1 to have a copy come in thanks to Inalla, and everyone takes 2 from the copy triggering Perforos. Sean then sacrifices the token to reanimate the Disciple of Bolus, doing what he did before by creating a token with Inalla and then having them eat each other. Sean gains 4, draws 4, and his opponents take 4 damage. Sean passes through his combat step and puts the Conjurer's Closet trigger on the Necromancer. Trevor decides Sean's had enough fun though and eliminates the Necromancer with Murderous Cut. Matt scries on his upkeep and plays an island in his main phase, which Trevor uses to put Dragonskill Summit onto the field. Matt then casts Soul Ring and casts Windfall. Matt, having drawn into it, casts Dance of the Dead, bringing back Worldgorger Dragon. Knowing that this is an infinite loop for infinite mana, Sean responds to the Worldgorger trigger Exile trigger by casting Cyclonic Rift, not overloaded, to bounce the dragon back to Matt's hand. Matt stops this with an Is It charm as Sean is unable to pay the extra 2. Mike responds to Matt's charm by casting Reverberate to copy Sean's Cyclonic Rift, but Matt is ready for this and counters it with Dissolve. Matt is then able to loop the Worldgorger dying and re-entering with Dance of the Dead to generate infinite mana, and finishes the loop by bringing back Nivix Guildmage instead of the dragon. Matt now has infinite mana, and he casts a Lethal Fireball to finish out the game. Game review time. So unfortunately the guys didn't get to see as many planes as I was hoping for. In fact, they saw as many planes as they did Phenomenon, which is kind of funny. I don't know if the plane chase cards made a huge impact on this game. I mean, scrying 4 is good, but it's often hard to make a decision with that many cards to look at. Being on Manamo certainly did help Mike a lot though, and I guess drawing whenever you cast a spell for anyone is a good thing. I think Matt was able to get there mostly because no one was really targeting him for the entire game, and people were more concerned with Mike, Trevor, or Sean doing stuff. Trevor was certainly more concerned with Mike getting a bunch of cards, as he was blown out last time as Mike had a huge hand and was able to kill Trevor in one go. Trevor's Yidris deck took on a more control route, ramping hard and dealing with threats as they came. Sean's Inalla deck continued to do what it does, make copies of wizards and sacrifice them for huge amounts of value. I'm sure some people are going to be disappointed that Matt was able to win through an infinite combo, but the game had been going for over an hour and people were ready to shuffle up some new decks and play a different style. With that in mind, I'm glad that Matt was able to win as we were able to play another game, and frankly, being able to win with a fireball as opposed to something like Exsanguinate was a lot of fun. Please be sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for a guaranteed new video. You can also find me on Twitter at MTGMudsta, at Facebook at facebook.com/MTGMudsta, or on Twitch at twitch.tv/MTGMudsta. This video is brought to you in part by support from my Patreons. If you're looking for a way to help out the channel, please be sure to visit the link below or in the About section. As always, thank you guys for watching, and please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more.